Mira Business FM, Dubai's home of business radio.
This is the morning drive, and school's about to close for the summer, so that means demand for holiday camps and summer camps and lots of extracurricular stuff is rising. However, it's no longer just about childcare or keeping kids entertained. It's about equipping them with life skills these days. So what's driving demand? How profitable is the summer camp market? Why these programs? Why are they becoming a fast-growing business vertical? That and much more. Charlotte D'Souza is the co-founder of Blah Blah Blah, which is essentially an online, but offline as well, life skills academy for children and for teens. And she's with me. Good to meet you.
Hi, Tim. Thanks for having me on the show. Lovely to meet you too.
Do you know, it's changed since my kids are at summer camps, and we'll come to that, and we'll look at the way they work these days. But I suppose most of us think of them as kind of a logistical necessity for parents in lots of ways. But is the rise of life skills programs a response to parents demanding more, or are you trying to change the way the market defines summer camps and summer care?
Absolutely. It's the second one. I'm trying to change the market, and I'm sure many others like me are trying to. It was always about traditional camps, going out and playing, even some online camps, but again, traditional recreational programs like drawing, art, music, etc. Yeah. And I wanted to get in there and felt that there was a gap, especially between what we learn in our formative years and what we need in real life. And those are life skills. That's the emotional intelligence part. And that's where I started my organization.
And that's what you thought was lacking, the emotional intelligence part.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that was lacking. I mean, if you ask any adult today, what is one thing you wish was taught at school? And you will hear people say, I wish somebody taught me confidence. I wish somebody told me that you don't need to fear what people say. You need to go out there and talk. I wish somebody taught me empathy, what empathy really is. I wish I didn't even know the definition of emotional intelligence. Some people don't know the difference of empathy and sympathy. And they say that I wish all these things were taught in schools. That I can go up on stage and speak, I can go and do whatever I want to, but this wasn't taught.
Well, those are all skills that, I suppose, if you were to list those are skills that you should be learning from your parents. And I use the conditional verb should, and often we don't. It's like at school as well. I've always kind of felt one of the things you need to know what to do with is money. And we're not taught about money, how to save, all of those things. So I guess there's a need for all of those. I'm answering my own question here. There's a light bulb moment just happened. So look, has there been a change in summer camp spending habits? Are you finding that parents are willing to pay maybe a premium for that extra kind of life skills part compared to the traditional, like the sports camps or the art camps?
Okay, more than parents agreeing to spend a premium or an extra part, I'm glad that parents are coming to the table. There was a time where parents thought, like you said, these skills should be learned from your parents or you learn them when you grow up. But now parents are realizing the importance of learning these life skills in your formative years, right. And they're at least coming to the table to pay the money, I would say. I would, in all reality, I would still not say that people are paying more for life skills or premium camps as compared to the traditional camps. No, that's not true. But parents are coming to pay, and that itself is a revolution. So
it's more like reinforcement, really,
yes.
Isn't it? Of stuff, hopefully, that they're picking up at home. But it's just that, that extra push, yes. I suppose. So look, you're an online academy. Essentially, 85%, is that right, of what you do is online?
That is
you're
correct.
An online academy. So how do you handle that? How does it work, really? I'm trying to get my head around it. How do you handle the engagement challenge? How do you keep a 14-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 14-year-old, 17-year-old interested in a digital environment when very often at summer camp, traditionally you'd be outdoors, playing football, hiking, whatever it is that you're doing, or you'd be dropped at a camp location? How does it all come together?
The answer to that lies in your question. It's the engagement, it's how you keep them interested, right? These 2 points. Now, if you divide that, when they're an outdoor camp, you get them running, you get them doing different things. The point is variety. The point is giving them different things. So what we do is, we essentially divide our camps or children, the age groups, into 7 to 10 years, 11 to 13, and 14 to 17. So number one, you're within your age group. So you're not, a 17-year-old is not thinking that he's expressing something in front of a 10-year-old because they still have that age bias.
Sure.
But once they're in their age group, we divide the class into 5 different segments. And it's completely about experiential learning. It's not that I'm talking and I'm just talking and giving you a lecture and you're sitting across the screen and just listening to me. So if there is a particular life skill, say a thinking skill, emotional skill, or social skill, we'll get to that later, but it's a particular life skill that's divided into 5 segments based on the different cognitive behavior learning techniques of children. All right? So once we do that, every segment, the facilitators, there will be there's a small size batch, 10 children each batch, not more than that, so that everybody gets attention. In every segment, there are 2 facilitators. The facilitators will be speaking only for 2 minutes, and the children are expressing for the rest of the 10 minutes.
Okay.
You know, so every time they are at a place wherein they're told that there is no judgment in this room, you can give your answers, it's a safe space, and you'll see each of them expressing. And the more their voice is heard, the more they're interested. Remember, every individual looks at what's in it for me. The moment I'm heard, the moment my thoughts are expressed, the moment I see somebody else in the room having a similar experience like mine, you're engaged. And we have kinesthetics, standing up, running around, exercises like those. You have scavenger hunts, you have debates, you have case studies, you have expression of speech, you have DIYs, sustainability, name it.
And you're in the safety of your own home, but
Yes.
you're engaged in something else and you're
Yes.
occupied in your
Yes.
own home.
Yes.
Because, I mean, it used to be, and I'm as guilty of this as anybody else. The kids at summer camp, and it's like tire them out, and then they'll be fine later. But this is that added kind of thing, those added life skills, which is what I want to ask you about, because I'm interested in how do you get across something like, let's take empathy as an example. Can you teach empathy, or isn't it something that we either have or we don't?
Every life skill is like a muscle which can be built.
Okay.
Look at it like that. So every physical activity, even math, even academics, anything you pick, the more you learn it, the more you practice it, the more it comes within your system. Life skills are exactly like that. Probably people are born with empathy, probably people aren't. I'm not even going to debate that question. The point is, I believe everything can be trained and learned. Like, for example, empathy. Even when we start with what is empathy, I mean, nobody has even spoken about, you hear the word sympathy, you hear the word empathy, you hear the word apathy. What is the difference? Who's taught children that? We start from that point. We start from the point differentiating apathy, sympathy, empathy. And when it comes to empathy, I'll give you an example for 7 to 10-year-olds, and you're wondering, how can you even learn this?
Yeah.
So in a segment around kinesthetics, which is body talk, we have something like a washing machine. Like, think of 7 to 10-year-olds. Put yourself in those shoes, okay, by the way. And
I'm already in those shoes, Charlotte.
So a washing machine. So we do a whole music and dance sort of a thing that somebody's a washing machine, somebody's a pair of clothes, somebody's a clothesline, etc.
Okay.
And we go through the whole process of what happens when clothes are put into the washing machine. They go around, and then afterwards they squeeze. Suddenly the electricity goes off, so they're still. Then they come out. They go on the clothesline. I'm making it very fast, and then they dry up. Okay. Mm-hmm. Somebody is the washing machine here, somebody is the clothesline, somebody are the clothes. Everybody, for the case of that segment, have realized how each of those feel. At the end of it, I have answers saying that, I didn't ever think our clothes went through this. I didn't ever imagine that this is what objects felt. So then we asked them, were you able to put yourself in those shoes and feel what they felt? And they said yes. It's a 100% yes answer, because they're going through the motion, right?
Yeah.
And so if you could do that, could you today put yourself in your parent's shoe, maybe your mom's shoe, when she came home and she said that, she didn't say, I'm tired, she just said, I'm fine. But you can see in her body language that she's a bit tired. And then you get answers. Oh, you know what, really? My mom always says I'm fine, but she came and she sat down. My dad says everything's fine, but I see there's a little bit of tiredness. That is empathy. That is you being able to walk into another person's shoes. That's why I said it's all about experiential learning. Let them experience it and learn. And this was a small example, but you'll have something in expression of speech. You'll probably have a debate around it. You'll probably have a case study given to you around it. You'll probably create an empathy board. You'll write a thank you note. You'll do various things. And that's how you will learn empathy. And there's not one, I've got about 4 or 5 lessons separately on empathy.
Okay. So these are skills that you can be taught. So you're looking at things like critical thinking, communication. You look at digital literacy as well.
Yes.
So it's all very positive. So at the moment, if current demand is an indicator, right? What's the one kind of, because these are soft skills, I suppose. That's the basket you put them in. What's the one soft skill that parents are most kind of keen, or maybe desperate in some cases, to outsource to people like you? What's the one thing they really want their kids to get?
Can I just correct you a bit there with the soft skills? Can I give you a little more details before I get into that answer?
Yeah, please do.
All right. So life skills are divided into 3 parts: thinking skills, emotional skills, and social skills. And when you said soft skills, they are a part of social skills. So thinking skills on the lines of decision making, problem solving, time management, money management, financial literacy, growth mindset, etc. Everything with your brain. Emotional skills on the lines of self-awareness, self-worth, embracing your emotions, empathy, anger management, stress management, anxiety management, etc. And social skills on the lines of communication, interpersonal skills, collaboration, leadership, teamwork, sustainability, conservation, so on and so forth. Soft skills that you just said come under social skills, all right, which include dealing with people. But there are emotional skills where you need to embrace what you feel, how you feel, where you need to practice it with others, nurturing relationships, etc. Now, coming to what parents look for, parents look at a little bit of a combination. So parents look at critical thinking. Parents look at confidence building. I want my child to be confident. I want my child to stand on stage and speak. Many times I turn around and ask them, how many times do you stand on stage and speak? How many times do you display this to your children? Let's say monkey see, monkey do. So that's a different conversation. But then confidence. Then they're looking for resilience in the current market because children were scared.
That's the word at the moment, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Resilience is something they're looking for. So these are the main skills. Empathy is also something they're looking for. They don't call it empathy. They call it sympathy. And I try to change that to empathy.
You try to make sure that, people are getting that right.
Yeah.
That's interesting that parents want their kids to be more confident, but maybe they're not leading by example, are they?
That's correct. They aren't leading by example. So many times I want my child to voice their opinion. And then I sit around and ask them, and that's why I said about love languages, but then I sit down and ask them, how many times are you voicing your opinion in front of her? How many times are you standing up for what is right? How many times aren't you brushing things under the carpet saying that you're too young to know this is a taboo topic? So those conversations start at home.
Okay. Let's talk about the business a little bit. I mean, the summer camp market clearly is a seasonal market.
Yes.
So I guess you're coming up to busy time now.
Yes.
I can tell by the smile. That's the truth. So scaling is a unique challenge, isn't it, I suppose, if it's seasonal in that way. How do you manage the kind of operational crunch of the summer months while you maintain consistency in terms of your revenue for the rest of the year?
Absolutely. And that's why Blah, Blah, Blah is based on 2 modules. One are the short-term workshops, which are summer camps. Summer is the best period, like you said, because most countries have their holidays around this time. Sure. So we get children from Germany, Africa, Australia, Singapore, India, Portugal, etc.
Okay.
This is during summer, winter, spring, term camps, okay? The long-term programs, this is what I'm most interested in. That's why it was building life sustainable habits as blah, blah, blah. Because these habits or these life skills need to be a part of your DNA, need to be a part of your system. And hence, we have the long-term program, which spans the academic year, which starts in September, ends in June, where we meet children once a week. So in the week, they're practicing that life skill in their physical environment. While they're with us for 1.5 hours on a particular day, say a Tuesday, the rest of the week, they're practicing that life skill, and they come back to us as to how they've practiced it, what they've learned, what was the experience, and what was the reaction of people around them, and so on. And then we talk about it, and then we go to the next life skill.
Okay. So the other thing about the summer camp thing, I've just realised, is you're international. So this is not just, little Johnny's with his friend, some other little name, going to summer camp. It's, we're going to go together. This is a much wider bunch of people. Could be kids from India, from Portugal, from Taiwan, from wherever.
Yes, absolutely. So we are now present in 18 countries, like I said, through word of mouth, because children were interested in you, and you were wondering whether online works. So I think I need to give you a piece of information from us, basis stats and numbers. So after every camp, we generally have children and parents both give us feedback. So currently, from the feedback that we've covered of over 550 children and parents is, We have a rating of 4.92 on 5 from children and 4.87 on 5 from parents, and a Google rating of 5 stars. So that's where we stand. So at least the numbers also keep saying, and in every feedback form, we always ask, what is it that you don't like about us? Tell us what we should discontinue. And that's a compulsory question they have to answer.
Okay.
So, that's...
What do people say that they don't like? You set that up. I had to ask that.
Yes,
Yeah.
a lot of them say nothing. So I'm happy about that.
Good.
However, there are a few children who say, I didn't like the body talk segment because I don't want to move my body.
Okay.
Someone said that I didn't like the expression because I've been told to speak aloud. And we said, great. And then we explained to them why it is included. So at least we have a conversation. Everybody loves doing something. Some people don't like debates. And then we said why debates are important. So when we have that conversation, then I know why it's included in that segment. It's anonymous, but they write it in a way that we know who's writing.
You know exactly who it is. No, I can imagine. No, it's a very inclusive way of doing it as well, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
So you encourage people to maybe get past their blind spots.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
And
okay.
coming to your question of it being international, yes. The reason I had these online was that I wanted a child who's probably not in such a privileged environment to be able to be with a child who's so privileged. And that's happened. We've had somebody from the villages of India with the child of the ambassador of Australia. So, and that would never happen if I would have somebody in my vicinity. For example, I live in Al Furjan, and if I had to do a workshop, a lot of people said, do in-person workshops, they're better.
Yeah.
But what would happen is, especially in the case of life skills, you would have children with the same standard of living, the same kind of mindset, the same kind of they're going to play every day with. I didn't want that. I wanted somebody from this part of the world learn something from a completely different part of the world. Look at the three of us here. We didn't go to school together, but I'm sure I'm going back home today learning something from the two of you.
I've learned something from you, Charlotte. I'll tell you that. I didn't realise you could do all this stuff online. But you're helped by technology now because it's not.
Yes.
You don't have to be behind, a phone or a small screen. We've got smart TVs,
Yes.
so that's changed the game,
Yes,
hasn't it? I suppose?
absolutely. And COVID, for anything, I would look at it positively because COVID gave me a positive advantage of people at least being open to online learning more than they were before. So I've actually started post-COVID. So I really had a positive advantage when it came to the COVID scenario.
Yeah. Okay. So if anybody else is looking at the education sector, you were in the corporate world for a long time. I know that, and this was. It feels like it was a bit of a calling to you because you're very enthusiastic about this. Is the summer camp model, is it a reliable profit center? Is it more of a customer acquisition strategy? So you're looking at the core kind of annual business?
Yes. So it started with it being thinking about, I'll be honest, I thought about this as to what is the change I can bring about. I did not think about profit at that point. However, it ended up becoming a customer acquisition model because once they come in to the summer camp, they're with us for 6 days.
Yeah.
6 different main life skills, few sub-life skills, finale showcase for parents. But at the end of it, they learn a different style of learning. They basically unlearn a few things and relearn a different style of learning. And that encouraged them to come into our regular camps.
Okay.
And while that might be, from a business perspective, increased money, I would say, because it's on every month they'll be paying.
Yeah.
Other than that, for me, it's secretly, I'm helping a child become a change maker. So you were right when you said it's my calling. So when I even look at the profitability, I may look at numbers, but I'm always somebody looking at what's changed in this child. How have I helped this child? Or how has this child brought about a change? And lots of our children in our camps or in our regular workshops are doing brilliant things. And I think that's true profitability for us.
No, I mean the calling thing in a very positive way,
Yes.
as a compliment. But we had a very quick chat off air before you came on, and you're in the corporate world for what, 18 years?
18 years.
You said 18 years, and you loved it. And it just happened to be that it was time for a change.
Yes.
I'm not going to start talking about the cosmos and the universe and being
No,
guided places, but it's all kind of falling into place. So clearly, you're doing something that is the right thing for you.
Absolutely.
That's kind of the thing. Loads of questions to ask you. We've got no time to ask them, unfortunately. But let's look at this summer. Schools are closing, obviously, this week, in the coming days. How are bookings at the moment? Surging? Doing well?
Yes.
Yeah?
Bookings have started coming in. This time we've done something very interesting. I wanted to name it a particular thing, looking at whatever we went through in the UAE as well.
Yeah.
We're calling it Fearless Minds. And the camps are being called Fearless Minds because fearless for me doesn't mean there's an absence of fear. It's about stepping up despite the fear. And I wanted to have fearlessness in thinking outside the box and thinking skills, fearlessness in embracing your emotions and being vulnerable, fearlessness in leading by example or standing up on stage and speaking anywhere. Hence, under Fearless Minds, we divided them into 4 tracks called Fearless Me, Fearless Connections, Fearless Leadership, and Fearless Future. And the beautiful thing, like I said, the right people come in at the right time. We've got amazing speakers who are experts, who are training political leaders, talking on world platforms, who are ex-army personnel, somebody who's traveling 125 countries in a year, somebody who's training brands across the world, somebody who's a smile strategist, who's coming up and doing workshops for our children. So I'm very excited about this summer. And yes, I went very slow. I've always gone organic. But this year has been so interesting that people have now started showing interest and my batches are filling up. I have about 16 batches this year. And I think I'm halfway through there.
Sounds pretty good to me. I mean, there's been cost pressures this year, obviously. Lots of people, worried about money, thinking about money. There have been, obviously, the tensions have added to that. Are parents spending more on summer camps this year, do you think? Are they spending as much as maybe you would expect them to spend?
It's interesting. I am seeing parents, I haven't seen parents come to me and say that there's a cost crunch or anything like that. However, I have heard parents say, yes, I'm in a bit of a financial problem, but my child is more important and I will invest for my child. So I've heard those this year. So that's been interesting for me.
That's a good thing to hear, I think. That's all the time we've got, unfortunately. Summer no longer just a break from school. There's an opportunity, I suppose, to get ahead now in some ways, isn't there? Charlotte D'Souza is the co-founder of Blah, Blah, Blah. It's an online and offline life skills academy for children and teens. 7 to 17, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, so good to talk to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Lovely having you.
Appreciate you coming in. Like and subscribe. This is Mira Business FM.
Mira Business FM, your daily guide to the markets, money, and more. Mira Business FM. The sound of success.
It's the Morning Drive Real Estate. This year, Saudi Arabia made one of the most significant shifts in its real estate policy in decades. They've opened up freehold ownership to foreign nationals in very specific areas, but it has been opened up. So what does that mean for investors, for expatriates, and as well for where we sit here in the UAE's real estate market, the regional real estate market? AJ Menon is the CEO of Lux Vista Real Estate, back with us on the program. Nice to see you.
Likewise, Tim. Good morning, guys. Yeah.
Good to have you here. So let's start with the headline here. Saudi Arabia's law of real estate ownership by non-Saudis came into force January 2026. How significant a moment was that?
It is a landmark defining moment, I would say. Major change. It's a big reform, yeah?
It is, yeah.
And will that impact UAE? The short answer is yes.
Yeah.
But not now, but eventually.
Yeah, I mean, there are many different ways to look at it. We'll look at the different ways that you can view this. But what's actually changed on the ground in Saudi Arabia? What can a foreign national now do that they couldn't before?
Now they could actually have freehold ownership of properties, residential, whatnot, and in certain designated areas under a regulated framework.
Yeah.
It's still not a nationwide policy. You cannot just go and invest everywhere.
Yeah, okay. So simply, so the question that everyone's asked, you've kind of answered it, but there's a lot more to it. We're in Dubai, so should Dubai be worried? But the other markets across the Middle East, should we be worried? I mean, we've got our own supply pressures building, large volumes of new stock, obviously, coming to market through 2027 in particular. Does Saudi opening up like this arrive at a vulnerable moment for the UAE? Are we going to see prices drop or demand shift?
Now, let us understand why this happened, because obviously Saudi has been looking at UAE very closely.
Sure.
And they would definitely like to copy our model. And perhaps that is the only logical explanation of why he would open up this particular concept in Saudi as well.
Right.
So, which means he is playing catch up with UAE.
Well, you would think so. Yeah. I mean, the UAE is a over 20-year head start.
Exactly. So that is our massive advantage over Saudi.
Sure.
And we are also not sitting quiet. When Saudi is also progressing, we are progressing even at a much better pace.
Yeah, well, momentum is there, isn't it? That's the thing.
So and we also have this 20 years head start.
Yeah.
But what 20 years head start gives you is a whole set of other things. So will it impact the prices in UAE? Eventually. Not now, but maybe in the future.
Yeah.
But we should be ready for that. There will be a bit of capital flowing into Saudi on a later date.
Okay.
So I can split that into two, short term and long term.
Well, I was going to ask you that. Let's look at the structural kind of advantages, if you like. What does Dubai have that, Riyadh and Jeddah just doesn't have at the moment? And it can't be replicated overnight, can it?
No, seriously, simply not. It's not possible.
Yeah.
That 20-year head start gives you a lot of structural advantages. One is this, the investor confidence in Dubai. It's a proven market. Legal frameworks are transparent. High rental yields, ease of exit, liquidity. The families living here. There's a lot of jobs here. Established communities. So this will continue. UAE will continue getting investments.
Is this the global name as well, isn't there?
It's already got a global name.
Yeah.
There's a lot of companies that is working in a corporate sector. Pretty much regional headquarters are in Dubai, or the UAE for that matter.
Yeah.
So there's ADGM and there is DFM. So there's a lot of things happening here.
Okay, so let me ask you this: can you paint me a picture, AJ? The type of investor attracted to Saudi, who is the Saudi real estate buyer, and are they different from the Dubai buyer?
Very, very different, because their risk appetite must be extremely high.
Right. Okay.
Because obviously the higher risk, higher reward.
Okay.
And who might be interested in Saudi would be somebody who understands that there is it might be a big entry phase. My risk is quite high, but my returns might be even better.
Okay.
So it's like somebody allocating part of their portfolio to Saudi.
Yeah, I mean, Dubai is kind of liquidity-focused buyers. If you were to, take a kind of a broad view of the market, right? Saudi, it strikes me, maybe longer horizon, Vision 2030 kind of aligned. So there's more execution risk.
That is correct.
Isn't
So,
there?
see, Saudi is there's a lot of positives of Saudi. Basically, Saudi is a big domestic market. They have massive government spending. Vision 2030, as you mentioned, is one of those key things. And now, foreign ownership is actually one of the key elements that was missing before, and which we used to have all the corporate guys thinking, okay, UAE is much safer. But now, since foreign ownership is allowed in Saudi, people could evaluate Saudi as a potential competitor. So they could, before they were only focusing on UAE, now they will kind of evaluate what are my advantages in Saudi, what are my advantages in the UAE, and especially for corporate setups. Because there is a big race for between these two countries to attract global companies to come here and make them their regional headquarters.
Well, exactly, yeah. And I mean, given the way, people outside looking in consider the markets, and Saudi, UAE, it's all kind of lumped in together, even though they're very different
Completely
markets, aren't they? There's also a very practical point here, and you kind of mentioned this just now. Most people buying in Dubai are already here,
Yes.
living here, working here, businesses here. That's a point, I guess, to
They are not going to disappear. With Saudi
Yeah.
opening up, it doesn't affect these people anyways. These
Yeah.
people have established communities. These people are already working here, living here, have got established businesses here. They are not moving anywhere. They might have an opening a branch in Saudi. They might open a branch in Saudi later on.
Yeah,
it's
for
it's
sure.
more of an expansion plan rather than completely abandoning UAE and then going to Saudi.
I was thinking about this. It's not so much capital flight, is it? It's maybe talent in the sort of medium to longer term. If professionals in the kingdom can now own property there, does that change the kind of the mathematics around where people put down roots?
I still would give my vote to the UAE because yes, at a certain
I know you would.
No, even my clients basically. The thing is at some stage when NEOM was doing extremely well,
Yes.
there was a lot of talent poached from the UAE and taken to Saudi, even from the UK as well.
That's true.
The C-level executives were paid $1 million plus. Everybody was paid $1 million plus.
Yeah.
So they were trying to offer extremely high salaries and trying to lure them to Saudi. Yes, many people went. But then, of course, that they could not carry that through. I mean, NEOM was, kind of terminated or temporarily paused for lack of funds, if I may say.
Yeah, it's on hold. That's right. Okay. So, is there a realistic timeline? If I was to put you on the spot for Saudi to become a real competitor in kind of international real estate capital terms?
I would give it anything from 5 to 10 years' time.
Okay.
So that is when people will start looking at Saudi at a much more serious manner. Because immediate requirement, it's very small. They just started still very untested or uncharted territory. People are observing it. But it's much more comfortable to put your money in UAE at the moment.
Sure.
But once it starts picking up, these people are observing all the time what is happening in the market. So if there is an opportunity coming up and they understand there is an opportunity, there will be young adopters. There will be early adopters and they will jump into it.
Yeah.
But they also understand that it is a higher risk, higher execution risk as well. So, but high rewards can be expected.
Well, you've got to start somewhere, haven't you? Multinationals, and let's consider Vision 2030 for a moment. That's been driving a wave of corporate relocation into Riyadh, right? Does property ownership now make Saudi a more compelling proposition for the executives and talent following those companies? Is it too early to tell?
It's too early to say because the thing is, if you ask me or any of the people who's established in Dubai, I might be interested in investing in Saudi in a property or probably a business.
Yeah.
But will I move with my family? I will not.
No. Okay.
So that level of confidence is still not in.
Yeah.
Because obviously Dubai offers a much different lifestyle. It's much more liberal. It's much more, cosmopolitan.
True.
And
true.
I'm not sure about Saudi at the moment.
Okay. I mean, the thing is, I'm asking you for personal opinion, so I'd put that as the caveat there, but that's fine. I mean, over the medium term, let's take a medium-term horizon, okay? 5-10 years. How do you see investors actually splitting allocations between Dubai, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia?
Definitely, they will be considering it. So it is like, obviously, if I have, say, 100 million or 100 units of cash to deploy, I am going to be splitting it between UAE heavy 70 and Saudi 30. So it is like any mature investor in a stock market. You will not allocate all your portfolio into one particular market. No. You're going to be in established market. You're going to be in emerging markets. So it would be a classic case of an emerging market allocation.
Okay.
So people will consider that.
Well, that's quite an interesting point. So you have this established market versus an emerging market. So does that mean Dubai prices, they're not going to fall, they'll just maybe even outgrow at a slightly different rate?
See, global capital will be split a little bit. Right. It will go to Dubai or UAE as much as it will go to the Saudi as well. Saudi probably in the 20 to 30% range, and 70% towards the UAE, favoring UAE. And UAE itself is divided. Now Abu Dhabi is a serious contender for Dubai.
Yeah.
So it will be Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and Saudi.
It's nothing like competition on your doorstep, is there? Would be the boys down the road, I suppose. So I mean, what we're seeing is this kind of phased, quite regulated approach. There are designated zones. Oversight is by the Real Estate General Authority, correct, which has been created. Do you see that as a strength or a limitation compared to how? I mean, the UAE opened up pretty fast, really,
and Saudi could also open up very fast. So it's a testing phase for them. It is a testing phase for investors as well. So both the country and the investors, they're learning at the same time. So the moment they understand this is a very profitable venture, they're going to open up more zones. They're going to make it more easier.
Yeah, well, you would assume, yeah.
So once that happens, then obviously it is going to be, winner takes it all.
So big picture, for UAE developers and real estate businesses, AJ, is this threat's the wrong word, but is this something you need to actively respond to, or is it just something that you need to adapt to? Is it a structural shift?
No, I wouldn't even consider this a threat at all. I mean, if I'm thinking from a developer's perspective. If I'm a developer's perspective, I am thinking of Saudi is not a replacement of UAE. Saudi is an addition. So so people have got two areas in the GCC to consider to invest. So why not expand into Saudi market? Why not go and develop in Saudi?
It's a bonus, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's just take best of both worlds. I mean, if you already capitalized the market in UAE, so why not a new destination rather than, some people are going to Georgia, some people are going to all those other countries, but Saudi is just next door.
Yeah, true. So, personal question, are you thinking about Saudi as a market? If somebody said to you, AJ, prime property, Riyadh, what are you going to do?
If it deserves merit, of course, it is a good investment. But obviously, there are some companies, Saudi-based company who's out of UAE, they have projects in Saudi. But nothing, I've found it much more attractive rather than the current UAE market. So that is why I've not really pushed it much. But there are brokers in the market who've actually pushed Saudi products.
It's certainly more than in the back of your mind, isn't it? Particularly now, I guess. Yeah, okay. I feel like I'm grilling you today. I don't mean to grill you. There's just lots of things coming to mind. It's interesting, and potentially it's such a big deal.
I'm still a medium rare. You can grill me more.
The way you like it, I know. All right. So, final thought then. Let's think 5 years from now. How do you see the GCC real estate map looking? Are we looking at the beginning of I was going to say multipolar. I think that's a word. Is that what we're looking at?
Not really. No. See, one does not going towards one doesn't mean abandoning the other one. everybody can go for everything, whatever makes you money.
Yeah, I suppose so.
So it's a good alternative. So, okay, do you want to capitalize on the UAE market? Yes. And have already made money in the UAE? Yes. Now, where is my next big opportunity? If Saudi is going to present me that opportunity, why not?
Yeah, okay. So it's an opportunity to be maybe a little bit more broad-minded, a little bit more outward-looking, a little bit more adventurous is the wrong word, but you know what I mean.
No, it's a phased improvement. Basically, okay, Dubai had a great time. Dubai still enjoys a great time. Okay, Dubai is never going anywhere. Now, where is everybody focusing at the moment? Abu Dhabi, because Abu Dhabi is now gaining traction. They're coming out with some fantastic projects out there. And people have, some brokers were already in Abu Dhabi. Now, many Dubai-based brokers are trying to promote Abu Dhabi. So that is the second phase. But now, eventually, when Saudi comes in, I'm sure everybody, these people will also start promoting Saudi as a destination.
Sure. How are you feeling at the moment, by the way? I mean, you're in here every week. I haven't asked you for a while. How do you feel now that how far are we into the 60-day until we need an agreement for sort of 10 days in, 12 days in, something like that? How do you feel confidence-wise here in the UAE? I know I'm not saying you're unconfident before, don't get me wrong, but how do you feel at the moment?
I was very confident right from March. Because we're
coming into summer. I mean,
we're coming into summer.
Time.
I'm surprised that it took so long to settle down. The peace agreement is, however fragile it may look like. Some people say there is a progress. Some people say there is no progress. And funnily, it seems to happen anything between Friday evening and Sunday night when the markets are closed. So we don't know what they have in their mind. Yeah. Probably the last few days of milking the market. Maybe the stock markets. So will the peace hold? It anybody's guess. It could happen. It could not happen. But end of the day, everybody knows that this cannot drag on forever. So it has to stop at some stage.
I mean, there are clearly serious discussions going on. At least the start of serious discussions. And at the moment, I mean, who knows what you believe and who's saying what? But it's the start of a roadmap.
Yeah,
isn't it?
But again, this is not just my theory. But the thing is, what happened was like this month, there were 3 or 4 launches. Everything sold out within 2-3 days. So which means that investor confidence is coming back and has come back.
Well, that's kind of the question I'm asking you. I mean, because you're talking to people who are actively looking or buying or doing deals at the moment. And it seems as though, and this is purely anecdotal on my part from people that, come in here, it seems as though there is an increased level of confidence. There is a confidence campaign from the government, the Dubai campaign, but it seems like it's palpable.
It looks very obvious because I've seen that is actually facts on the ground. And today's newspaper also says that, the buyers have actually given up hopes in getting distressed deal anymore.
Yeah.
So they are now accepting the fact that the prices are not going down. And the rental markets also recovering. It's today's headlines.
How many distressed deals were there, really?
Actually,
really, honestly?
There were. There
were some.
There were some, but not as much as these people claim to be.
Yeah, that's.
It's not like there were initially, especially in the first month. Yes, we saw some distressed deals.
Yeah,
the guys who actually left, whose core belief system was shaken. That Dubai is impenetrable. This could never happen. Nobody is expecting this.
No.
We've been living this. This was always a complex region.
Sure,
it's a volatile region. But I personally have been for almost 30 years. Never seen this. Never expected this.
No, I'm not quite as long as you, but exactly the same kind of frame of mind, I think. It's always interesting to chat to you, AJ. I always appreciate you coming in. AJ Menon is the CEO of Lux Vista Real Estate, based here in Dubai. Thanks again.
Thank you, Tim.
Nice to see you. Stay up to date with MiraBusiness.fm.
Mira Business FM, where business comes to talk. Mira Business FM, where business comes to talk.
It's the morning drive, something that we all consume every day, but how much do we really know about what's in our water? From growing concerns over microplastics to questions about imported bottled water and also sustainability, consumers are taking a closer look at what's behind the label. Now, joining us this morning is Mike Hecker, who is the founder of Be Water, and that's Water WTR. Hopefully we can unpack the biggest myths, explain what you need to know before you choose your drinking water, and discuss whether locally produced premium water could well be the future. And I'm thinking, Mike, you're going to argue that locally produced premium water will be the future. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you. Good morning.
It's good to have you here. I wanted to start off, actually. This is obviously your thing, but microplastics is something that we all hear about, we read about regularly, we're worried about. It's a major global talking point, I suppose, for lots of people. How serious a concern is the microplastics question when it comes to bottled water specifically?
First of all, in general, it's a very important subject, very serious subject in general. Microplastics are everywhere, and they are today in our body, they're in our blood, and unfortunately growing. When it comes to water, it's a major issue because water is a natural resource. Water depends on the snow, the rain that comes every year. And unfortunately, with climate change, that means that the rain and snow of this year carries more and more microplastics. And so this snow melts or ends up in natural water resources. And when you look at the water industry and when you look at bottled water industry, the whole concept was that a mineral water brand is water that is untouched.
Yes.
All the industrial players are doing everything needed and necessary not to touch the water. But today, with climate change affecting so much the water resource, with microplastics being part of the resource, you are in a bind. You need, in order to avoid having microplastics in your mineral water, you need to filter the water. And this is, in most countries, not allowed. If you look at the traditional mineral water countries like France, Italy, so the European established players, the legislation says if you are a mineral water player, that means you are not touching the water anymore. You're not filtering, you're not treating. And so this is the real problem today in the water industry. Brands that have taken years to establish their credentials and done a tremendous job in it are not allowed to filter the water, and therefore you're ending with microplastics and other pollutants in the water.
Okay, so a serious concern would be one way to describe it then.
Very much so, and a growing concern.
Okay, so when you reach for a bottle of water, should we be thinking about water much more carefully? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. Education is needed, awareness is needed. So you need to think about two things. One is the quality of the water you're drinking, meaning does it have, on one hand, micropollutants that you can get rid of in a different way? And of course, does it have minerals? Because you drink water to dehydrate yourself, but also have part of your mineral intake. So you need to think about both. For example, reverse osmosis type of water doesn't bring you any minerality. So basically no need to drink such water. Better drink water that brings minerals. But then if you drink a mineral water brand today, chances are that you're drinking microplastics. The other consideration is transport and the carbon footprint. And imported water, especially if it comes in glass, has the worst carbon footprint of any packaging.
It's heavy.
It's heavy, and it's used single time.
Yeah.
Imagine a glass of water, a glass bottled water coming from Italy or France. Just imagine what the steps it takes. Somebody needs to produce the glass, ship it to the bottling facility, then it needs to be bottled, then shipped by container here or wherever it is consumed, then used once, and then discarded. The energy it takes, the effort it takes is just humongous.
So the riddle that you're trying to solve and to get around with Be Water is exactly that.
Yeah.
It's to bottle locally.
Right. It's first of all to
That's
provide great tasting water
Okay.
without any micropollutants, without any microplastics, and great tasting because water is about taste.
No, it is, and I mean, I notice differences in different waters, but I guess for lots of us it's negligible, isn't it? Or maybe we're just not drinking the right water.
No, so first of all, water as an insight is something that is an acquired taste. You have your own water that you were born with, whether it's your tap water or whether it's the first brands that were served at home. This is your acquired taste in terms of water.
Right.
But universally, what people do not appreciate in water, especially when it comes to just drinking tap water, is the chlorine taste,
Sure.
which comes when you need to treat the water in terms of bacteria. So when we say great tasting water is smooth, pleasant, very silky, and when it comes to sparkling, you need the sparkling side, which is fizzy and brings you this joy.
Okay.
So taste is important, of course, but what we are trying to solve as a problem is that water needs to be tasteful, but needs to be also responsible in terms of carbon footprint and impact on the environment. And to do so, the best solution and the problem we are solving is make it local, make it great tasting, avoid transport, and make it as much circular as possible.
Okay, so how do you do that here in Dubai, in the UAE?
Yeah, so we do it in UAE is a very important market for us.
For example, I know you're present, what, 20?
In 20 cities
20
in the world.
cities,
Yeah.
okay. And that's kind of, I suppose that's the business model, that footprint. How do you do that here?
Yeah, so we are bottling in major, so we have two bottling facilities, one in Dubai, the other in Abu Dhabi. Okay. Both are located in proximity of our major clients, in the basement of big hotels. We take the local Diva water, filter it through our innovative Swiss technology that makes sure that the water is even getting rid of any possible last mile type of pollution, being smoothed and made silkier through the activation of our filtration technology. And then we have micro-bottling facility. So we invented a compact machine that takes glass bottle. We always bottle in glass that is a circular glass. So imagine a glass bottle like the old milkman back in Europe. Sure. Where we wash the glass again and again and again. So we bottle glass, cap, seal, get 6 to 12 months shelf life on the bottle, and then send it out to our clients and pick up the empty bottles back. And this is a completely circular model.
Okay, so sale and return.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
With the advantage that the same bottle can be rebottled 300 times. And if you count how this can last, this is about 6 to 8 years.
Okay.
And this is where sustainability comes into play, because, again, imagine versus the example we gave before, where a glass bottle travels from a producer of glass to Italy or France and then comes back here, used once and discarded. We are doing this 300 times and with little transport.
Okay, so you have a circular economy going, you have, and therefore sustainability is front and center in your business model. What do you charge for a bottle of water? Because water is so wildly varied in cost, isn't it?
So sure.
What does
first
a
of all-
bottle of Be Water cost?
Yeah, so first of all, we are focusing on F&B. This is our primary market.
This is premium.
This is
segment, isn't
premium.
it?
This is to allow restaurants and hotels to replace imported water, which they are charging a good revenue on,
Sure.
with locally sourced premium water that is much more responsible in terms of environment, but also in terms of quality of the water. Again, doesn't have any of the micropollutants and has the minerality.
Right.
So we are comparing ourselves to imported brands. I don't want to, cite
We all
other
know who
brands.
they are.
Everybody
we
knows
do.
the green bottles and
Sure.
the Alps water and this and that. And we are in general in the same price range.
Right. Okay. So your competitors.
And then maybe I want to add something. We're just launching now a home delivery service.
Okay.
So this is relevant for the local households that want to have the best tasting water with a conscience, with a responsibility delivered to their homes. And we will pick up, again, circular model, we'll pick up, when we deliver, we'll pick up the empty bottles. We have a deposit model per bottle, and we'll credit the deposit when we're getting the bottles back.
I remember that when I was a kid. So you mentioned there that you add minerality.
So
to the
we do
water.
not add minerality. What is great about Diva water is that it already has minerals.
Okay.
It has magnesium and calcium. Those are important elements to make the water great. And we just filter out any possible micropollutants and keep the minerals.
Okay, so you're not there's nothing added or taken away from the water aside from the pollutants, or
Right.
it's filtered. All right, okay, I've got you. Let me just ask you a really simple question about water. What are the biggest misconceptions, Mike, about bottled or filtered or locally produced water? What are the distinctions between them?
So there are many. First of all, there is a misconception that glass is the best packaging. It is. Well, it is if it's reused. It's
Right.
the worst, even worse than plastic in terms of carbon footprint when it's used single time.
Sure.
Okay, so when you're picking a bottle of imported water at the supermarket or in a restaurant, from a carbon footprint, this is the worst impact.
Sure.
So that's first misconception. The second misconception is that mineral water, famous brands are the best when it comes to babies or mothers and quality of the water you're drinking. Back to the beginning of the interview, I highlighted how much micropollutants you have today in natural sources, in natural mineral water. So this is a second misconception. If you want the best healthy water in terms of intake, better have filtered water. Because like this, you're sure that micropollutants, or 99% of micropollutants, are filtered out.
Sure.
So that's the second misconception. The third, I would say, is on home filtration system. And we have home filtration systems in Europe. We'll bring some new technology to UAE in the coming months. But a lot of people are using reverse osmosis systems.
Yep.
And reverse osmosis is not what we recommend for two reasons. One is that you take everything out, including the good things, so including the minerals.
Yeah.
And secondly, for 1 liter of water, you need to use 2 liters of incoming water. The reverse osmosis is wasteful in terms of water use and therefore energy. So again, the best solution possible is to use a powerful filtration that will take the local Diva water and filter out the last mile, keeping the minerality in.
Okay, so on the shelves in the UAE, there are loads of different brands of water, European, international waters. Is it mostly marketing? Is the water better, do you think, the imported water?
So it's for sure legacy. We have legacy brands that have done a fantastic job in their home countries and internationally in developing their marketing and brand equity. Climate change has hit everyone because all those brands, or most of those brands, are natural source water, and their natural source is impacted by climate change with micropollutants, and the legislation in their home countries doesn't allow them to filter. Okay, so today that's an awareness that needs to grow in the consumer's mind. That's why I believe, and this is my mission in life, is to promote local water as premium water. To become premium, you need to provide technology.
Sure.
You need to filter it the right way, but you need also to bring the right packaging, hence glass, and today we are launching also aluminum packed bottles. And you need to bring a brand that people are proud to serve and people and are emotionally attached to. And that's what we are trying humbly to do with Be Water.
I've not seen water packed in aluminium bottles before. Or aluminum bottles for our American viewers or listeners, I suppose. That would like a mini scuba tank, wouldn't it? Is that
so aluminum bottle is a packaging that you see coming more and more. Quite popular, starting to be quite popular in the US market, and starts to come to more and more markets. Aluminum represents several advantages. One, it's light.
Sure.
So it's lighter than glass. Can be a good alternative weight-wise to plastic. Much more noble material. It's a material that is, first of all, coming from the UAE, one of the biggest producers of aluminum in the world.
It's true.
And secondly, can be recycled eternally. So the same, if you recycle aluminum, the end product of the recycled aluminum is the same grade of aluminum. It doesn't degrade. And so what we are trying to do by launching aluminum bottled water is to solve the issue on what do I do on the go? What do I do when I go and play golf? What do I do when I'm being chauffeured from the airport? How do I solve that issue? Glass is heavy. Or what do I do in a swimming pool, on the beach? And this is what aluminum can do.
And I guess as well, if you buy, I'm just thinking if I go out and buy a bottle of water and it's an aluminium bottle, I'm maybe more likely to keep it and reuse it as well.
Exactly.
So quite an attractive prospect in and of itself.
Great, absolutely. And there is a fantastic initiative in Dubai with Dubai Can.
That's true.
This is what the authorities are trying to promote. If we can help this by providing a packaging that people will be carrying it themselves, and from time to time when they're next to a Dubai Can fountain, they can refill, then again, from a waste point of view, we are solving a big problem.
Okay, so water is the source of life. We're all very aware of that. We can't exist without it. What should we be looking for? Whether it's local water or imported water, whatever it is, what should we be thinking about when we're choosing drinking water? What should be in your head?
Good question. Number one, I want safety. So I want filtered water today better than any natural water.
Right.
Number two, I would like to have minerality. So water that brings a contribution to my daily intakes in terms of minerals. Number three, I want to buy with my conscience. It's important today. Use as much local produce, local product as you can. And so to buy locally is a good act of responsibility from a consumer point of view.
Okay. There are lots and lots of water companies. There are loads of brands on the shelves. And I'm interested in how you see the competition. I mean, for locally produced premium water like yours, for example, we've got long-established imported brands. Whether they're any good or not, that's debatable, and we talked about that. But we've also got the local brands, haven't we? So how do you compete with all of that? Because there is a lot of noise in the sector, isn't there?
So I think what is unique for us is the combination of local, sustainable, and premium doesn't exist really. You have local players They are mostly, on all that I know, are single use, whether plastic or glass. And so to be able to become both premium and sustainable is the equation we are solving. And this is where I feel it's a new category. This is what we're doing, not yet globally, but internationally. Everywhere we go, we are the local player, being sustainable, circular, and premium.
Okay, and you fit well. I'm feeling as though there's an alignment here, isn't there? Because we have some quite ambitious sustainability targets here in the UAE, net zero by 2050, for example. So, and the plastic reduction commitments that are associated. So I guess you kind of fit the picture in some way.
I think we fit very well the picture of UAE in general. I love the phrase of Dubai it now, right? And I think we are part of it. How do you bring modern solution to a modern city that is growing like no other city? And this is part of how you become a player in the community and contribute to the community.
I've got a couple more questions for you. We've got a little bit more time. What's the biggest myth that you constantly hear people use when it comes to talking about water that you would like to get rid of?
Imported is the best.
All right then.
And I think seriously, water is a very important category for F&B. Every table would consume water. Water is part of the dining scene and
It's
part
a big
of
part of the hospitality.
Part of the hospitality and a major contributor to the revenue. And so we fully understand the brand equity that F&B needs to have when you're providing an experience.
Yeah.
And this is where we believe we bring a change. We bring a change that can motivate F&B operators, can motivate the staff. If I'm a young waiter or sommelier or in a restaurant, I want to be proud of the water that I'm serving. And I'm not sure you can be proud of saying I bring water from Europe 5,000 kilometers away to be used once and then discarded. And what we want to create is the proudness of a local player.
Do you know there is something in that. I hear you say that you want to be proud of water, and I kind of thought, oh, hold on a minute. But then actually, when you go to a restaurant or a cafe, whatever it is, and somebody says, can I get you some water? And there's always this thing that you will be served a cold bottle of imported, fizzy or not, water. Right. And more often than not, I would rather say local water is fine, just a bottle of water. And I suppose that your product fits in that picture.
We fit 100%. Yeah. We have also an iconic bottle. The bottle shape design is very different because it needs to be reused 300 times. It has a very large neck in order to reinforce the washing and disinfecting every time it's being reused.
Gotcha.
Has no label. Because it has a lot of branding on it, but it's without a label. So there's a lot of iconic elements into it, and we believe it can become an iconic symbol globally. And we know Dubai is a global city. Travelers are savvy travelers. And when you go to London or Paris or Singapore or Geneva, you meet Be Water at the best tables. We have over 200 Michelin restaurants serving us globally. So this is part of a trend that is becoming stronger and stronger.
So there's a certain level of trust in the brand already.
Exactly.
Internationally, you're saying. Where else are you? I know you're in London as well.
We're just opening London.
We're
just opening this summer in London in the city center, a bottling facility.
Okay.
We have bottling facilities in the center of Paris, in Nice for the Côte d'Azur part. In Switzerland, we have 3 different bottling facilities. In Lausanne, our home city, in Bern, and soon opening in Geneva. Singapore, China, Shanghai, Beijing, and Xiamen, Montreal, Toronto. Growing.
So the model is go to a city, set up in the center. So distribution is kind of outwards thing, I guess. Is that
Very
the
compact.
idea?
That's why
Yeah.
we normally don't distribute more than 30 kilometers. So that's why
Okay.
we are within the city, close to where water will be consumed. So big hotels, big conference centers, the F&B scene.
Oh, there's an exclusivity within that, I guess.
Right. And again, water, transport, carbon footprint, that's what we want to optimize.
Okay. Final question for you. I mean, you're, okay, so 20 cities. There's some trust internationally in the brand. Where do you see, and where would you like to see the premium water market heading in the next 5 years?
I see a very strong trend towards replacing imported with locally produced premium water. I think this is a win for the planet, win for consumers, win for the operators. And we want to lead this category. We believe this is a category that can be significant. Today, the legacy players have been able to build a fantastic brands that are bottled in one place and shipped all over the world. And this we want to change.
Mike Hecker is the founder of Be Water. Appreciate you coming in today. We'll stay in touch. We'll have to have another conversation.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Pleasure to be here.
It's been good to meet you. Like, follow, and subscribe for more interviews like this from Mira Business FM.
Mira Business FM, your daily guide to the markets, money, and more. Mira Business FM, Dubai's home of business radio.
This is The Morning Drive. It's Mira Business FM. We talk constantly about the intelligence of artificial intelligence, but we rarely talk about the human labor that makes intelligence possible. Now, as companies across the UAE and globally, to be fair, pour billions into AI, a critical conversation is emerging. How are the workers who actually train these systems treated? Krista Polowski is an AI trainer and she's an organizer for Turkopticon, which is a non-profit that advocates for fair pay, for transparency, and better working conditions for AI data workers. Krista, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Always excited to have this conversation.
It's a pleasure to have you on, all the way from Michigan early in the morning. So thanks for being with us so early. We often imagine AI development as just, codes and servers. Can you walk us through the hidden reality of what it actually means to be an AI trainer in the market today?
Training AI is actually very labor intensive. You have to take every little micro action that the AI chatbot or generative AI is doing and break it down and isolate individual parts of it and correct it when it's wrong and train it when it doesn't know what to do. So for something as simple as a chatbot conversation, there can be thousands of hours worth of input before it's viable output.
So why are there so many concerns now being raised about, the people behind AI?
A lot of the platforms that do this, it's like gig work. So we're not actual employees and we don't have a lot of protections. We are often removed from projects and lose our income without any warning, without any explanation or any way to try to get our jobs back. In a lot of parts of the world, the pay is very bad, like not even a livable wage. And again, since we're not actual employees, we don't have any way to fight against that. And a lot of the content that we have to deal with is very psychologically difficult.
Yeah, it's questionable, I guess, at best, some of the content. And so let's just delve into this a little bit more. What does an AI trainer actually do? Can you boil it down for us?
So I might have a conversation and they might ask me to try to get the AI to give me advice on how to commit a murder because it's not supposed to do that. So I'll have to sit there and try to reword my conversation to try to get it to actually tell me to kill someone. Or I might have to try to get it to be sexist or racist. Like I purposely sit there and talk to it and try to get it to fail so they can figure out how it failed and improve it. And sometimes all I'm doing is looking at the output and saying whether it's good or bad.
So you can see how the questionable nature of the content could be quite damaging, I suppose. What does a typical day, if there is even such a thing as a typical day, what would it look like for an AI trainer?
It would depend on which particular platform. A lot of them, you might have one specific type of job. So you're going to sit down and do these tasks all day long. Each task is its own individual paid job on a lot of these platforms. So your hourly rate might shift throughout the day. Some of the platforms are shifting to more of a traditional layout where you're going to do the same thing all day rather than hunting for work. We spend a lot of time just competing with other gig workers trying to get this work. It's not guaranteed I'm going to sit down and work for 8 hours for a lot of us.
Okay, so what happens is these roles are advertised, and they're advertised in I guess, quite an enticing way. It's, work your own hours, you can make X if you work far more than anybody could ever imagine that a person could work, I suppose. Is that the way it's done? And also, while I'm on that topic, what kinds of skills are these being looked for an AI trainer?
A lot of the jobs are advertised just as you said. They'll claim that you can make a certain amount of money an hour if you're an English teacher or if you understand a certain type of computer code. And a lot of that means that you have to get onto the platform, get accepted onto the platform, and do a whole bunch of onboarding, which is unpaid work, before you ever see that, excuse me, supposed, $20, $30 an hour or whatever they're claiming you're going to get.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But outside of that, a lot of it is just the job is explained and you click on it and you try to get it. It's like a la carte, basically. Everybody's kind of in there trying to grab the same thing.
Okay, so I guess for most of us, most of us haven't really considered the background to AI, kind of the backstory, the back office, I suppose is probably a better way to put it, and don't really consider why data workers involved in artificial intelligence are becoming a much bigger part of the conversation. There's this, I suppose it's a dawning realization, isn't it, now, that there are humans behind this process?
Yeah, we are often compared to what happened in the textile industry when sweatshops were discovered. Up until then, you didn't think anything about where you got your clothing. And then all of a sudden they realized that people were being harmed and dying and not being paid well, and everybody wanted to start talking to all of these sweatshop workers. It's very similar to what's happening with data workers right now. Now that people know that we're here and they're hearing that we're not being treated well, the conversations are starting to shift a little bit about, like, how can we do this? How can we have ethical AI? How can we get these workers better treatment?
Okay, so working conditions. How do working conditions affect the quality of AI tools? What's a direct impact you could use to illustrate that?
A lot of the times when we're given a job, we're not really told what it's for. We can basically be doing something wrong and not even know it because we don't know what this particular model is or why we're doing this particular bit of work. But you're also, since you're competing with so many people, there's that urgency, like, I have to grab this job and get as many of them done as I could. So I make more money because when I'm looking for work, I'm not making any money.
Okay, so the efficiency of AI then is built on the backs of thousands of data workers, and so behind every smart algorithm is a person potentially making loads and loads, maybe thousands of micro decisions. So my assumption is that most businesses And I guess most people assume that AI-driven means automated. So how much of this tech actually relies on, low wage, but obviously quite high volume human input, Krista?
A lot of the work that I do is building the algorithms before they're used. I'm not in any of the ones like you've heard about, like the automatic, Amazon had their automatic grocery stores, and it was just people watching on cameras adding up your grocery cart. It wasn't fancy software.
Right.
I think most of the AI that we interact with is is the algorithm. It's just that there was thousands of hours of input before it got to you of an actual human making micro decisions, like you said, but not live in the moment that you're using the AI.
Okay. So now you work specifically on labor advocacy in as I said, you're based in Michigan. What are the most common blind spots that maybe executives have when they invest in an AI platform or platforms, specifically regarding the supply chain of human data annotation?
Currently, the biggest concern is account deactivation. Your account can be turned off for any reason, and they often don't give you a reason. So there's no way to build your skills out to prevent it from happening because you don't know why it happens. And several of these platforms, when they deactivate your account, they keep any income that you've earned. So you lost your job and you don't get your last paycheck. And um, I think I think that's from when we were polling our workers, that was one of the number one concerns was losing account access.
Sure. So that's essentially that's just cutthroat. So businesses should care about how AI is trained.
Yes, because there's outside of the bad pay and everything else I've mentioned, you're also going to get a product that's going to unintentionally be biased if we don't understand what we're building when we build it, if you don't make sure you have the right people building it. Like if we're talking about, social issues, you need to be having the people that are affected by that social issue training that AI, and that doesn't happen. It's just all dumped into a big pool, and you end up with all of the bias and racism and things like that that are just inherently come out of every model.
Okay, and I guess if it's just all dumped in a pool, it's kind of a numbers game, isn't it, really? From a policy and the standpoint of business ethics, what does fair pay and transparency look like for a remote AI data worker? Is it a matter of better hourly rates, or is there a deeper systemic issue regarding how these kind of tasks are structured?
One of the biggest problems with this work, and we keep saying platforms, plural, because you don't just go to one place and work and you cannot transfer your skills. So all of the time that I spend onboarding and training on one platform, I have to turn around and do it again on the next one. So skill transfer would be a very big one. Transparent pay, because they, again, they expect you to do all of this training for free. And if we could have more transparency in the algorithms that control what work we see, what we're offered, and whether or not we're removed from the platform. So again, so we can build our skill sets so we can have better, more stable employment.
Turkopticon has been instrumental in bringing some of these issues to light. Your role currently, if you like. So for companies here in this part of the world, in the GCC, the Gulf Cooperation Council, currently building their own AI sovereignty, what steps should they be taking now to make sure that their data labeling practices don't mirror the gig economy exploitation that you've alluded to, that we see in the US and I guess in other markets?
My biggest thing would be, again, transparency, but also supports for your workers. The gig economy means we're on our own. If we have a difficult data labeling set, we don't have any mental health support. If we have to train, we don't get paid, we don't have somebody that we can go ask questions to. Most of the time, you never talk to a person when you're doing this work. You read a short set of instructions and you go, and you don't have anyone to talk to or ask questions to. So if you don't want to be like, realize that we're humans. That's my best advice. Like, if you had an employee, any other employee, would you even think about just putting them in a room and not talking to them and never checking on them? You wouldn't do that.
No.
We are actually people, and if you want to build out ethical AI, we have to be treated like employees.
It's a remarkable irony, isn't it, that the artificial intelligence is ultimately coming from a whole host of people behind the scenes that really we're not thinking about. I have to be honest with you, it's not something I've paid a great deal of attention to. The overarching banner of AI is the future is really most of the story, or it seems to be most of the story, unfortunately. To what extent, if I can take the other side for a moment, do you think is the race to develop AI putting pressure on the people building these systems?
There is a lot of pressure. I wonder how accurate that pressure is and what we're going to see in the next few years with AI. But I feel like they don't think this is going to last long term, so it's okay if we're bulldozing a few people along the way. Like, it's a race to the bottom at this point.
Okay. What changes are you pushing for at Tech Opticon most? What are you pushing immediately to happen right now? And then longer term, or medium to longer term, what are you pushing for?
Currently, we are focusing on deactivation. We would like to have a process around deactivation on these platforms where a worker has an actual fair way to fight for their account back, and it's currently usually just a decision made by an algorithm, and there should be people involved in that decision. If you're going to take away somebody's livelihood, you can at least have human eyes on the situation. That is our immediate current focus right now, is account deactivations, because again, when we pulled our workers, that was the thing that bothered them, the most.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. Do you think, I mean, it strikes me that there is a broader responsibility here amongst all of us, anybody that uses any system online, any LLM or large language model or AI system, that we should be asking the right questions. Do you think we are asking the right questions about AI?
The conversation is definitely heading in the right direction. And just a few years ago, most of these conversations, I would spend most of my time explaining what a data worker was. And now it's just a quick overview, and then we can start getting into the issues. Like, the conversation shifting, the change is finally happening. People are starting to seek out the education to figure out how to improve this process and not just keep consuming an unethical product.
One thing you said earlier is you compared AI ethics to the textile industry, the sweatshop industry. We're all very aware of that story, some really horrible stories. Is it really that bad? Have we gone that far, Chris?
In some situations, and like in the US, I can choose to walk away from my computer if I don't want the money, I guess. But there are some situations where people are forced for, hours a day to watch videos of murder or, war or genocide. And that is comparable to the textile industry. Like I said, in my situation, it means I don't make money, but if it's that awful, I can just walk away from my computer. So it really does depend on where you're at in the world doing this work.
I guess so. It's not something I thought of in terms as stark as that. It's a horrific thought. So, if a business wants to be a leader in responsible AI, what questions, or is it one question? I guess there are many questions. What should they be asking their AI vendors regarding the people training their models?
I would just ask what kind of ethics overview you have for your data collection, and I can tell you right now, most people would say that they don't have any. Because not only are there the underpaid and mistreated workers, but a lot of it's just information scraped from the internet that's not focused or controlled at all. I think, yes, that would be my one question is what is your ethics policy on your data collection?
Okay, and I guess for some, it's just, well, if it's there on the internet, it exists. It's something we should be considering, whatever the subject matter. I guess people are hiding behind those kinds of excuses.
Yeah, we get a lot of, everybody's doing it
Mm,
kind of attitude,
mm.
but that you have to start somewhere. You can't just say, just because everybody's doing the awful thing, I'm going to do the awful thing too. Somebody has to say, no, let's make this a little better.
Okay, so what should companies or businesses using AI be doing differently, given everything that we've discussed? I mean, in many ways, this is eye-opening, but what would you like to see the end user doing differently?
I would hope that the end user would seriously consider any situation that they're using AI in, especially if it has to do with any type of, if it impacts people at all. If you're using AI to make decisions about, schooling or healthcare or housing, you are using a system that is flawed. You cannot have a system that was built so unethically make an ethical decision. I would caution people to rely on something like this. I would caution people to, honestly, I don't use AI at all. It's, I don't think it's going in a good direction. And the more you use it and the more you're used to it, the less you're going to notice when it starts deteriorating.
When you say you don't use AI at all, you would never consult, you would never ask a question. What about when you, I don't know, you search for something? How, in some way it pervades kind of most of the areas of our lives at the moment, I guess. But you would completely avoid it as much as you possibly could.
As much as I can, I do avoid it. I use search engines that don't have the AI overview. I don't use any smart speakers. I don't talk to my phone, even though I trained those devices. Um, uh, I I purposely seek out products and versions that don't have AI. It's getting increasingly difficult,
Sure.
but it's not something that I rely on, and I actively try to keep it out of my life.
You used the phrase race to the bottom. Do you think does the AI revolution have to be a race to the bottom on labor costs? Or do you see, and I'm hoping that this is a more positive way to end this interview, but do you see a future where high quality data training is recognized in the way that you obviously hope that it will be, a skilled, a well compensated profession?
Yes, I mean, the possibility is definitely there. We just got our first trillionaire. That doesn't need to happen. You can pay people what they're worth, and you can have a good product that everybody can feel good about using. I mean, some of the things that AI can do are really neat. I wish I was more comfortable using it, but yes, it does not have to be a race to the bottom. We can definitely keep fighting these points and get better treatment for the workers and make it a product that everybody can feel good using.
Final question for you. What's the biggest misconception about AI trainers? And I suppose, the people behind AI as well.
A lot of times we are called unskilled labor. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions. This definitely takes skill. And like I said earlier, every platform is different and you have to go through training on every platform. And we are not unskilled labor. You're not just sitting there clicking. It is a skilled job.
Okay. It's been fascinating, Krista. I mean that. I feel like I've learned a huge amount talking to you. Krista Pawlowski is an AI trainer. She's an organizer for Turk Opticon, which is a non-profit that advocates for fair pay for transparency and better working conditions for AI data workers. Krista, thank you very much for getting up so early to speak to us, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Like and subscribe. This is Mira Business FM.
Mira Business FM, Dubai's home of business radio.